दिस इज रितेश लता। हम आप लोगों के लिए काफी इंफॉर्मेटिव एंड एक्साइटिंग कंटेंट लेके आ रहे हैं। We have invited a lot of wedding experts and we'll make sure that we'll keep these videos short. Chale, let's go. Hello and welcome everyone. Today we are at the Novotel Dona, Sylvia, South Goa. Actually, me and my team are here in this property from last one day. Like yesterday evening we checked in here. And I must say, amazing hospitality, very good food, and beautiful property. Beautiful property. You know, it's like approximately 181 rooms and a lot of banqueting venues, a lot of other facilities. And now we have Mr. Decosta, who's the man behind this amazing hospitality and beautiful property. He's the general manager. So welcome, Dennis. So Dennis, let me just ask you one important question first. How is this property from your perspective?
Well, I think this is one of the most beautiful properties. In fact, the most beautiful property in South Goa. It has been in existence for more than 35 years, and we've been catering to both international and domestic guests over the past so many years. Each of them have gone back with very memorable experiences. And during our journey of the past 30 odd years, we continually improved our product as well as our services to cater to the changing needs of our customers. And part of that in the past few years has been the way Goa has looked at business, also moving away from just leisure to more MICE, more weddings. And South Goa today is blessed with a lot of beautiful spaces, lovely beaches, which are, still virgin and not really being overcrowded. So that gives us a great opportunity for us to look at these two segments in a really, really important and critical way. This property has every facility that is required to cater to both the FIT segment and, more importantly, now in the past 4 years, the owners and the company has invested to have the largest banquet hall in South Goa. And that came up in 2021. So that has added a new dimension for us. And that has really gone very well with all our guests who have been visiting our property over the past few years.
Sir, like I was discussing with you off the camera, the kind of experience you have is like almost 25 years, 2.5 decades in this industry. And you have been working in, different parts of world, I would say, like across the globe you work. So, with your experience, what kind of new vision you have for this property?
Vision of this property and the Novotel Dona is to continue to make ourselves the number one wedding destination for anyone wanting to plan an event in Goa. We also want to be number one in our guest satisfaction, which is the most important for us, because if you have a very satisfied guest, that bring in more revenue and more repeat clients and more referrals. And that is what my team focuses on. Yes, we have a lovely product, but what we also simultaneously work with is to ensure that we also give them excellent service day in and day out. And that is reflected in our guest satisfaction scores. So with our excellent product, we also ensure that we give our guests excellent service. And when there's a great marriage between both fit, you have a lot of satisfaction.
Yes, I completely understand this and completely agree with you, because I have been your guest a couple of times and it was amazing. Like whenever I come to this property and stay, it has been always wonderful stay. So when you were talking about weddings, because I think wedding is one segment which is growing every day. So what is your property which offers to a wedding client?
Well, I think the uniqueness of this property is the multiple options that we can offer our guests. For every single event, we can offer you a different experience. Whether you want an indoor experience within our ballroom, which is the most beautiful ballroom, classical ballroom that you'll ever see in Goa, or you want to have an outdoor experience on our lawns, we have 3 options where we can give it to you. We can also you have a wedding on the beach, which of course is what every young couple wants to have, a memory of a lifetime, and that's something that we can offer you. We have an option because we created in 21 another small swimming pool, and that caters to another dimension whereby the wedding guests can stay in that particular cluster and also have a poolside party for their guests. So you won't have an intimate, event only with your family before the crowd comes, and you can have a poolside either at dinner or sundown or around that area. So in terms of options, it's just fantastic. I think not many hotels in Goa can give you these kind of options. Clubbed with the excellent team that we have, which takes care of every minute detail that a couple might want to ensure so that their wedding goes back as a memorable event for their family and friends.
So when we talk about weddings, like, as you mentioned, venue is very important because, people don't want to repeat the venue. Like every function, every event, they want a different venue, different experience, different feel, different decor, all these things. So as you mentioned, you have that kind of, facility or amenities or, the resources available. What about the food? Because food is, I think, the most important thing in Indian weddings.
I agree with you 100% on that. And having, over the past 3 years, hosting a lot of international as well as domestic weddings at our resort, we have been catering to various parts of India, communities in India. We've also done a lot of weddings where the guests are actually now in either US or in the UK, who've also, their tastes have changed. They've had their friends who have studied with them in these international destinations whom they've invited to come in. So we have done a lot of fantastic weddings catering to various communities, whether it's the Punjabi community, whether it's the Sindhi community, whether it's the Gujarati community, or the Marwadi community, which is very popular in doing weddings. We've also done some really, really unique wedding experiences for the Parsi community, which was the first time even for us as a hotel in this Dona Sylvia. We realized that the Parsis also have something of a dining experience where they, for the wedding reception, they dine on a banana leaf.
Oh.
And it's an extremely unique experience because we did so many non-vegetarian items which were placed on the particular platter. In fact, we go so much into detail that the family themselves showed us how certain dishes were made, especially for these particular events. Our chefs learnt it from them, and then we replicated much to their delight on the event day. In the past couple of years, we've also done 2 South Indian weddings. We've done those weddings whereby we've also catered to doing a traditional Kerala Sadhya, whereby our team members again ensured that the food was to the taste of the client. And what we did is that we went into every detailing, because in a Sadhya, everything has a sequence and it has to be in a particular way that you place it. The teams were trained, just to make sure that we delight them a little bit more. Even our attire for the day is also a South Indian theme. So we actually got the traditional shirt and the lungi from Kerala for the team members to wear. The ladies would wear a sari, which is again a Kerala sari for the event. And so much so that the guests did not expect it from us. But these are these small touches that we as a hotel do to make sure that the guest experience is elevated.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, after the traditional things is the usual Sajjan coat that we do, Marwadis. And that's another thing that we do, which is only for the intimate family, which is something very special. So we've done it all. And let me assure you that Goa, having become one of the leading wedding destinations, our resort today can cater to any type of cuisine that a guest may want to have, because we have chefs from various parts of India who are specialized in that particular regional cuisine. So if you're a guest, let me assure you don't have to be worried. You don't have to think, oh, will my guests get that type of food that we are used to as a Marwadi community, as a Jain community. We even, sometimes in a wedding, you also have a few number of guests who are from the Jain community who have to have their food before sunset.
Correct.
We take care of that as well. And even if it's for 10 people, we make sure that their food requirements are looked after so that they can enjoy the rest of the evening. So these small, minute details are taken care of by the team for the wedding.
When to talk about wedding is like, when a couple or a parents have to take a decision to, finalize the venue for the wedding. they see a lot of factors, like as we discussed, like the number of rooms, the availability of different menus, and the food, of course. And then obviously the hotel flexibility. So, or, if the hotel is more, familiar or more flexible towards the wedding. So how do you think that your hotel, how flexible you are for wedding?
Things of being a hotelier or a hotel or a resort is to ensure that you come across to the guest or the potential guest as being with them, for them, and being, that way is the word flexible comes in. There are certain people who probably come across as being very rigid. That puts off a client or a prospective client. We as a hotel ensure that any guest walking into this hotel is given a warm welcome. We have special experiences that we give to any guest who's coming in on the recce for the first time to see our hotel. They are met by senior management, especially from our sales or our events team. The general manager meets them either on arrival or before they leave. We have certain welcome amenities that we give them to this so that, they feel special. And that itself gains their confidence that, okay, I think we made the right decision, or we are about to make a right decision. In terms of flexibility, as I mentioned to you, we don't tell the guests that, okay, this is what we have, this is the route, this is what it is. We understand from the client what is their need, what is their expectation. And once we understand what the client wants, we then tell them what are the various options that we can give. I think, again, having people coming from various parts of India, I think one of the things that they do is they're concerned is, would I be able to bring a decorator of my choice? Our resort, I assure you, welcomes any type of panelist or any event manager pan-India to come and host an event. Our team will support you. The only thing is that we request the clients as well as the event manager to ensure that they get all the necessary licenses that are required to ensure a hassle-free event. So that's very important, because if the event, sometimes, that's, I think, one of probably the cons of, if you get somebody from outside, because they probably are not aware about what is required.
Okay.
So it's important for the event manager who's coming from outside or doing an event for the first time to be able to also do his own little study about what are the requirements of the local area. And once that is done, then I assure you the event would be a hassle.
One of the question was whether you allow a decorator from outside, which you rightly said that, you do not have any issues. Anybody, any decorator from across India or abroad coming here and you're doing the job for the government. So that's really one flexibility, because which we also see many of the places thought there. You have to stick with some specific people, sure, which I think is a great thing.
Even for food wise, sometimes, because as you mentioned, the Marwari community, they are predominantly vegetarians. And, sometimes you want to do meal experiences which are very exclusive, if you do it in a coffee shop, sometimes it becomes very difficult for you to have only vegetarian inside. So in these cases, we even do breakfast in a different menu whereby it can be an exclusive one for the family. So that kind of flexibility is there. The food, the menu will be different from what's happening there. So we can tailor make it so that the guests who are attending the event actually get what they prefer and what they like. And even the taste would be made to them, because prior to the weddings happening in the hotel, we do a series of food tasting.
Okay.
With the host and the host's immediate family. And once it comes to the satisfaction of them, then we replicate the same at particular event. So that again adds to the confidence of your guests.
Okay. When we talk about weddings, so what is a typical or ideal size of a wedding which your property can take, or which you think that if you're coming to Dona, Sylvia, this is the ideal size you should take up?
As you mentioned in the beginning of your podcast, we are a 181 room resort. During the off season, I can give you my entire inventory. That's from April to September, till September end. But once we move into the season, which is the second half, Goa opens up to international destinations, and therefore we have a lot of international guests who've been coming to this resort for many years, and we continue to welcome them. Therefore, if you're looking at a wedding during the season from the month of November to the end of March, I think can give you up to 150 rooms at the most. We also have another added advantage, because the hotel resort next door is also belongs to our ownership, our company, and there is a seamless entry between both the resorts.
Okay.
There is no it's a very unique experience which you can offer to a wedding, whereby you could have the bride side staying in one resort and the groom side staying in another, and then you can culminate into the ballroom for your main event or for event. So, and if you're looking at that point of view, then we can go up in excess of 250 rooms within one property.
That's large. So you can easily accommodate approximately 550 to 600 people. Some people on triple occupancy or stuff like that.
Yes. And then because of the open spaces that we have within both the properties, the options are many. Even if it's the ballroom, which I talked to you, where comfortably can seat about 350 to 400 people in a cluster seating. In a free seating or a theater style, up to 600 to 650 people can sit down there for an event like that.
Have a wedding like such where both the properties are taken. So in that case, client has a flexibility of choosing a venue between both the properties, food between both the properties, or
that we offer our guests. There are guests who sometimes would prefer only us to do it. We are other than the option. Sometimes even for from a logistic and from an operational point of view, and from ease for the clients, it's better for certain meals to be at separate resorts.
Okay.
Because then it's easier to handle the crowd, because suddenly everybody coming together at one might become difficult. It also ensures when we do such a thing also, there are common menus at both resorts. So that, there is no, he's got something different that I've not got. So these are these small details that we get into to ensure, irrespective of where you're dining, your meal experience would be of a set standard, which was to the satisfaction of both.
Majorly, all these separate functions where bride and groom families hold for their own families, which can be at the different hotels. And a common function like Sangeet or major function, wedding and all, you can have it one of the common. That's great. So that makes it to because I think your venues also can accommodate these many people.
Definitely. I mean, our outdoor venues can go up to even 1,000 people. So, there are weddings which cater to 800 to 700 people that they take not only one hotel, but probably even take up to 3 or 4 hotels, because at least in this belt, there are quite a few 5-star hotels here. And that gives the flexibility to the guest as well to add numbers. So you can walk, if you have a really big Indian wedding, which can go up to 350 to 400 people, or even up to 700 people, we can do the outdoor venues in our place. I mean, indoor venues would be a challenge, but definitely if they're looking from an outdoor perspective and having their events outdoors, this is something that we can definitely do. So those are the options that we can offer our guests.
Now let me ask you another question, which is nothing to do with your property, but what are the competitions you face?
I think you've been in the industry as much as I, and Goa today is one of the number one favored destinations along with Rajasthan in terms of somebody wanting to do a destination wedding. It's just whether you want to be on a beach or you want to be in one of those beautiful locales in Rajasthan, in a fort or in a palace. But we've seen that, the young couples today want to have something whereby they can enjoy the view of the sea, or they can enjoy having a wedding on the beach, because the setting, in the Arabian Sea, which we are blessed to have just at the end of the resort, is so beautiful. The sand is so beautiful. You have pristine cleanliness, and you, as an event manager or a person who's handling the wedding, it gives them great options to create a memorable experience at the beach. So that is something which really attracts, the young couples to decide on having a wedding in Goa. Yes. Besides the domestic destinations and the other resorts that are there in the vicinity, I think there's another challenge that we're facing now is the international destinations today are also understanding the importance of this segment of business and the kind of revenues that it can generate. And over the past year, especially after COVID, we've noticed that a lot of destinations in the Far East or Sri Lanka or the Middle East have also started wooing the Indian guests, noticing the immense amount of spending potential that India has today. And everybody wants to, cash in on that particular opportunity. However, I must also like to tell that the government of India has, over the past 1.5 years, made a lot of effort to encourage people to wed in India. And that's a campaign which has gone pretty well. We've seen the positive impacts of that. And I think now we've also seen a Wed in Goa campaign, which has just come out. And I think it's going to happen in every region, where every government, wherever there's a potential for this segment of business, would focus on promoting this particular segment, whether they attend international or domestic trade fairs or event fairs, pan-India or internationally. This is something that you wouldn't see a lot.
So when you talk about Wed in India, which is our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi is talking about, and the similar kind of campaign is going within Goa. So what is that you can see as a government of Goa is doing, or as a hotel fraternity, what kind of actions are you taking to make it more easier, more flexible for guests?
So the hospitality fraternity works very closely with the tourism department in the government of Goa, because as you're aware, tourism is one of the mainstays of Goa. And the travel and trade fraternity, along with the Ministry of Tourism and the government of Goa, has made a lot of effort to make the weddings in Goa more attractive. One is through publicizing the kind of event that we're doing here in Goa. The second thing which is now being worked up and has been put forward by the travel fraternity to the government of Goa is to make the ease of conducting a wedding much easier. I mean, instead of going to various places to get different permissions, they're trying to create a single window concept, which will make it much easier for the client to be able to get all his necessary permissions at one place rather than moving around the different places. This, I'm sure, would definitely help. It will also bring a lot of rationalization in the kind of fee structure that has been put in place for these kind of events. And I'm sure this would help in getting and also what they're working on is to see how, weddings are something which are very, very special events. So there's a lot of festivity, there's a lot of music, there's a lot of color. So to ensure that the domestic guests or the guests who are having their weddings don't have to worry about too much, is my sound too loud? As long as they're within the permissible limits, they will not face any kind of issues in having their events, whether it's indoors or outdoors, provided, of course, the guests ensure that they take all the requisite permissions.
End of our podcast. So I would like to ask you one or two questions where your expertise come into, because you have a huge experience, having worked in almost 25 years in this industry, and worked in many different places. You must have organized a lot of weddings, for your guests in different venues, different locations. So what kind of advice do you want to give to people who are planning to get married and choose Goa as a destination?
Well, I think weddings is such an intimate affair, and the last thing you want to do is to be too stressed when the event is actually there. So whatever you do, I recommend, whether it's a family or the couple, is to ensure that you prepare yourselves well in advance to ensure a seamless execution of your event. That would happen when you come and meet us. We have a very, very detailed process of interaction with our guests prior to the event, from the time they come in for the first time to see our property, then to the point where they decide that this is a property that we're going to get married. Then we get into detailing as to what is the kind of events that they would like to do, where they would like to do, what's the kind of menus that they would like to, what are the timing. So all these minute details are discussed at various meetings prior to the weddings coming in. And anything that we discuss is always then followed up with the minutes of the meeting that we had with the client. And then we detail it into whether it's into a contract or into the function prospectus for the event. And that's set. So we know at the end of it, at least about 3 months in advance, that this is the generic kind of the requirements of the guest. Then when the clients start closer to the date, they start coming to us. They probably bring the event manager to our hotel. They will do a recce of the property. They will decide, they will understand from us what are the do's and don'ts so that they don't face any issues when the event is going to happen. And we have two types of meetings. With one is internally with our team so that we understand what are the requirements of the guest. And then we have another meeting with the guests themselves so that any points that either we have missed out or they have missed out on letting us know, we are able to close all those open-ended points and ensure that when they come in or when their guest comes in, it's going to be a memorable experience for everybody. And without them having to bother about anything and leaving us to do what they have asked us to do. And that's something we have done extremely well. And what many of our guests have actually been very, very appreciative of.
My last question to you. Like if somebody is planning to get married and if they are struggling to, finalize the venue, what kind of tip, maybe one or two tips you want to give it to them to finalize and, come to a decision?
Every couple is different, so I wouldn't want to give them any tips. But what I think it's important for them to be sure about what they want to do. I mean, whether it wants to be an intimate affair or they want to make an elaborate affair, they need to be very clear into what they want. Once they are clear with what they want, then it makes it easier for us to be able to ensure that we're able to deliver and also delight what them. So if they have, we can also help them. I mean, that's our job. I mean, they can have an idea then because, everything's available now on social media. So they know so much that so many things happen. We can help them and guide them. And that's why our sales teams and our event sales teams, our food and beverage team, our chefs interact with the guests to make sure that we align ourselves with what the guest expectations are. And therefore we create delightful experience.
It was lovely having you on our podcast. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. अगर आपको लगता है कि ये content किसी के लिए important है, please share with them. And in case if you want us to cover a specific topic or content, please comment below. Thank you.